is to listen and to accept. If you're a student of knowledge, at the outset, you have to listen and accept what you're hearing. Why? Because you don't have the tools of criticism yet. Once you acquire those tools, you can begin to become critical. But those tools take time to acquire. And that's why the Muslims put so much emphasis on the acquisition of critical skills. And this is why they taught in their early stages. They focused on grammar, they focused on logic, they focused on rhetoric, they focused on these, what they call sina'atu thalatha. They focused on these arts because they understood that in order for you to really grasp what's being said and to be either accept it or to be able to criticize it, you had to understand it. And you had to understand it with the tools that enabled you to understand it without making the common mistakes that people make. And the grammatical tools are important because you have to know a conditional sentence is not a declarative sentence. It's a conditional sentence. And so if you take it as a declarative sentence, I'll give you an example, my own experience. After 9/11, I was interviewed by the San Jose Mercury, and I said, if there were any martyrs on 9/11, it would be the firemen. Suddenly, all these people, Hamza Yusuf declares the firemen martyrs. That's because people don't know what a conditional sentence is anymore. I'm serious. I mean, that's not the same thing as saying. And on the other hand, why assume that they were disbelievers when the foundation is belief? A person is a believer until they're proven a disbeliever. So why should you just assume America's filled with Muslims? There were Muslim firemen there. Some of them died, right? Why just assume that? Why not assume the best of people? Well, kuffar, American, right? That puts us in a dangerous position, right? It's precarious. But this is the problem. We have a community that does not have the tools of education. They haven't spent, and then the other thing they'll say, oh, this is an elitist project. This is for you to, assert your authority over the masses. I was one of the masses. I spent, 20 years studying pretty seriously, pretty hard, acquiring tools, it's open to anybody. You can all do that. You all have intellects, right? Seriously. It's not about elitism or preservation of, this is our domain. No, it's about understanding how dangerous words are, how dangerous revelation is when it's misunderstood, right? And we can see the madness out there from a loss of a spiritual scholastic class of people that used to have the regulatory function, the hisbah. They had a regulatory function of our tradition. So you had the ulama. And they were the ones that said, no, you can't do that, you can do this. Now, every Tom, Dick, and Abdullah is an alim. Everybody on the internet's an alim. Everybody's giving fatwa. And the basic tools to do those things they don't have. They're not necessary. Kitab sunnah, brother. I follow the book in the sunnah. What's that logic? Where did that come from? Who's Aristotle? A'udhu billah. This is their attitude. Seriously, this is their attitude. A'udhu billah. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did he teach logic? And mantiq? Where's mantiq in the Quran? Right? Imam al-Ghazali proves it. It's in the Quran. He wrote a book proving that it's in the Quran. Right? A'udhu billah. Imam al-Ghazali. How do you deal with these people? You can't. There's nothing you can do except just lament the condition of our ummah. Just subhanAllah, what happened? I mean, look what they produced. Now we blow up buildings. I don't mean we, but a lot of Muslims. Enough of them to cause all of us problems. But Muslims are good at blowing up. Kuffar are great at blowing up buildings. They're better than Muslims. If you want to boast about something, don't boast about blowing up things. Because the non-Muslims are much better at blowing up things than Muslims. Build bigger bombs, right? Smart bombs used by dumb people. It's a problem. But look at these buildings they built. You go look at the masjids we're praying in. Just look at the buildings. Look at the stone. Look at the perfection. And then look at the beauty. That's what they were doing. Right? I mean, the Andalusian poet said, تِلْكَ أَثَارُنَا تَدُلُّ عَلَيْنَا فَانْظُرُوا بَعْدَنَا إِلَى الْأَثَارِ. These traces we leave behind tell you who we are. So after we're gone, look at our traces. You want to know who the Seljuks are? Just go look what they built. Look at their madrasa that we went to. You want to know who Sultan Salim was? Look what he left behind. And now what do we leave behind? We're blowing up mosques. There's Muslims blowing up mosques that were built by previous generations. They go in and, khalas, it's a Shia mosque. Well, what is that? I mean, who gave you the right to remove people from the world? But this is the type of madness that's going on it's a sign of the times. I mean, the Prophet ﷺ informed us about a lot of these things undeniably, but it doesn't mean we should acquiesce, right? Fold our hands. What can we do? No, we have to fight it, oppose it, because it's very tragic how ugly that they've made Islam appear. I mean, this religion that people are in awe of. Everywhere you go, you travel anywhere in the Muslim world, you look at the civilizations that went before us. Look at the beauty they left behind. It's all beauty. They had their flaws. They weren't perfect. I'm not nostalgic in that way, or sentimentally nostalgic. But you just look what they left behind. It's all beautiful. People come from all over the world just to see Rumi. Why? Because he left the Masnawi. That was his contribution. People come from all over the world to see Istanbul. Why? They want to see the Topkapi. They want to see the Masjid Suleiman. And the Christians left behind great things too. The Hagia Sophia is a beautiful church.